course, now we're going to be advancing toward our next series, this one on Gibraltar, I believe, between the side of TBD and Saugaaa. And one thing to be mentioning when it comes down to the series, Burns, is, like I said, I was talking about the variant last night. Saugaaa was a part of a number of different awesome moments. They actually won the 4 versus 4 variant last night versus Team Envious.
They're looking strong. I mean, all these players have been well-respected and well-known. You have Proto coming from E6, Goonjar coming from, oh boy, one of my, TK. Got royalty too. He was a part of E6. Basically just decimated, half of the roster, and
Decimate
they won.
is on E6. Oh,
that was a trick word right there.
I don't know if that was intentional.
By the way, this is the spot I'm trying to tell you about.
Oh, okay.
This spot that Goonjar is in right now is, I feel like, a true power position, not only for offense, but just sitting behind it and letting your opponents just run right past you is a really good play.
Yeah, it's a cheeky little corner.
Yeah, it is for sure. But yeah, I mean, this Canadian roster, you'd have to say they have the top 4 Canadian players outside of
for sure,
outside of Karma and Optic.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to see a team of countrymen coming together and trying to do something cool with each other.
I noticed that one of our first tournaments, this group was playing together, and they all had the Canadian emblem as Proto just absolutely destroys SinfuL in that particular gunfight, as it will be a current 2 versus 2. And this is one guy that I'm very excited about when it comes down to Saugaaa, a.k.a. Team Canada, a.k.a. whatever you really want to call them. I think Proto is an awesome addition to this team. This is a guy who I have kind of coined the term of calling him the young TP, just because he does a fantastic job at getting that objective work done, but also finding his kills, as he just happens to get a great Molotov timing there onto Nagafen. This guy can compete with the Slayers, but he can also do that job when it comes down to the objective, and that's one thing that's kind of difficult for a lot of people to kind of possess both of those talents. But he also frees up a lot of space where we can watch Xotic and Royalty with the ARs or SMGs up close to damage. And Goonjar was playing phenomenal in the tournaments last night. I mean, they really need a guy who can kind of be a consistent player, but also can kind of do that objective work and let them free up to do the slaying. I think that's what makes this team such a unique group and such an overall solid group as well, is they kind of fit together well. And of course, all being from Canada, you can have a little bit of team chemistry.
No, for sure. And I think another important aspect of being a team is also like respecting each other and being friends, and I'm fairly sure that all 4 of these guys get along with each other. But more importantly, we just witnessed Proto get a Molotov kill with no call out, just threw it over there.
Great timing.
That round kind of got thrown away. You'd think after getting a bomb down and some key information that they'd be able to close it out, but last season in Infinite Warfare, I was most impressed with Proto out of everybody on E6. I felt like he was truly the only one contesting the top teams in almost every single series, and he was constantly providing those numbers that you need to even get close of progressing in a winner's championship bracket.
Definitely, it looks like Nagafen going to be greeted with a nade somehow in the middle of having his screen get turned around. He still finds the sniper shot there onto Proto, making him pay, as it will be a 1 versus 3 scenario. And we talk about Nagafen's play with the sniper rifle, absolutely lethal, as I know they were previously playing with Study, have added some different guys into this team, and now playing with SinfuL for the moment, who I believe was just announced to be on Beyond Reality, but that could be changing up. Nagafen, though, has got that sniper rifle back in hand, and I'm definitely excited to see him do some work with it. As back on the Elevate days, the Rise Nation days, with him having this gun in hand, I mean, he's just one of the best snipers, I think it's fair to say, in Call of Duty history. Yeah,
I was about to say there's no way he's getting that shot off while his screen is shaking from the nade, and he gets it. I'm like, wow.
It doesn't affect him. He just happened to find a setting where he turns it off. It doesn't matter.
Nagafen's just that he's kind of breaks the game.
He does.
And everything. I mean, in Advanced Warfare, you had him introducing the overkill light machine gun with a sub, and people were just like, what is going on right now? But it was working. The last game, you had him basically getting every one-shot, jump wall, first blood, retaliation, all these different maps. I mean, it was just, he's definitely an innovator.
Black Ops 3, I mean, there was no aim assist on the sniper rifles, and he just made it look like it was the easiest thing in the world.
He's talented.
Like, how do you use the PO6 successfully? I have no idea. Like,
I forgot about that gun.
I sucked with the PO6. Yep. Not that I'm a good player by any means, but like, I don't understand how that weapon is even useful, and he was just making it look like it's the best gun in the game.
All these flashbacks are coming. I can't cast right now. I just remember getting spammed through a wall by Nagafen. I mean,
FMG on the PO6.
But yeah, I mean, and even that gun, it had a delay.
Yeah.
Which was the hardest part about it. I considered myself to be a decent sniper in that game, and there was no way I could use that gun without days of practice if I wanted to even learn it. And Nagafen just always learns how to break the game, how to make it easier for his teammates to win in the easiest way possible. It's like the lazy person just trying to find like everything they can do to get an A+ in a class, and he does that.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely a very talented guy is he. And I remember there was, back on the Elevate roster, of course, much different team at the time, 3/4 of the old TR guys heading into Black Ops 3. It was actually the Uplink. And they were discussing and saying, like, how are you guys so good at Uplink? Because they weren't really the best slaying team, and at the time, Uplink was kind of just based on teamwork and strategy before everyone kind of realized that as long as you have 4 Slayers, you can basically destroy. But they were saying, Nagafen, he just happens to go in, he'll work for like 3 or 4 hours in private lobbies and just learn how to kind of, learn all these strategies and whatnot. And he was finding a number of different, crazy spots where no one would have imagined that these were capable. And, just overall, like you said, he breaks the game. He knows what to do. However, in this matchup, it is going to be the side of Saugaaa, who destroys in Search and Destroy, winning this one 6 rounds to 2 in pretty dominant fashion. One that I thought would be closer, but one that closes out after 8 rounds regardless.
Yeah. Not to continue to talk about my past, but I teamed with Blfire on Automatic Reload and Advanced Warfare.
Yep.
Great person. We placed 5th at Champs together, so I can see this. I did not expect this roster to come together for this game.
It's an interesting group.
Yeah, for sure. You have SinfuL, who's just been looking to find any type of home. Methodz has always been a star player. We can't count Methodz out of anything if he's performing an A game. And I personally think Blfire is one of the best anchors in the game. When he is on, he's on.
Yeah.
There was a moment in Black Ops 2 when he was placing top 3 every tournament with Mercs and a couple more on Curse. And with the addition of Nagafen on this roster, I mean, you can definitely see a dominant team coming to form if everyone's playing their A game. So hopefully they can bounce back and we can see a map 3 out of these guys.
Well, definitely. And, kind of speaking more on Blfire, it was kind of a testament to see, like, how is he going to perform when it comes down to, another Boots in the Ground title, of course, now being World War II. And there's been a few tournaments where I've been able to cast over, of course, the main 3 on TBD being being Nagafen, Blfire, and Methodz. And he was just destroying with that assault rifle. And it was just like, I feel like I was surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised because it's like, this is what he was built for. I mean, this is like why he's having was a level of a pro for a reason, and he's kind of back to his roots and back to what he likes to do.
I think Boots on the Ground is his forte.
Yeah.
He was obviously good in Infinite Warfare and a few other games. The placings might not have shown, but he was still a dominant player, and I really believe he'll come back into form for Boots on the Ground.
Unity Studio casting over currently TBD and Saugaaa. We're headed to map number 2 after Saugaaa destroyed in map number 1 on Gibraltar. They won that one after just 8 rounds of play, and now we load into USS Texas to see how things will obviously start to break out, as we're currently stuck in the overhead camera, so we do apologize for that. Sorry, Nagafen, we don't get to catch your highlight 2-piece, but still Burns a needed comeback for the guys on TBD, as this should be a very interesting matchup to be watching, not just on USS Texas, but even if we do see a map 3.
This view is so cool. Obviously, when you're outside.
Yeah, right.
You can't see anything inside, but, I mean, it almost looks like a different game.
It really does.
It's really unique and cool, and I think it's a great addition that they showed.
Indeed. One player to be looking out for, of course, kind of running in through the map here, is going to be Royalty, though. This guy with the sniper rifle, throughout a lot of the matches that I've been able to cast over this exact group play, is one to watch out for. And every time that we're going to see him find a snipe, that's going to put in the back of the minds of TBD that, hey, we have to be wary. Of course, whatever site, whether it's A or whether it's B, of course, whatever site he chooses, they're always going to have to be wary of that sniper rifle in the back, because Royalty will hit a guaranteed shot 9 times out of 10. And rarely does this guy miss, even though he rocks, a 27 sensitivity. So
I was just about to talk. His sensitivity is ridiculous. I think every pro... The reason I like him so much is because he does his own thing.
Yeah.
He has his own style of play. All of these pros are like, oh, you can't compete at that high of a sensitivity. It's just ridiculous, and he still, competes at that level. Competing against him for 2 years.
Yeah.
Meeting him in a hill and seeing his character just somehow do a 180 in less than a half a second was scary. And it set a little bit of a... That's a snipe that you were just talking about. Your prediction god.
Oh, well, thank you. It's really not that difficult, honestly, whenever you're just seeing what this guy can really do on the map. I mean, some guys just make it easy to cast over because it's just easily, commentated brilliance, essentially, is what kind of, his forte really is. But, of course, Royalty in the back lines receiving some shots, and he has to be wary. You can't miss too many bullets on Royalty because he can whip around and get those flick shots pretty easy. But of course, Proto, nice little line sight here. Of course, being in that back bomb site, great positioning as whoever that was, just kind of nice little
I mean,
angle there to jump.
Royalty is so good that I'm hyping him up, and he still stops me from talking about him from his awesome snipers. You know?
Indeed.
It's
Beefing him up.
I think from what we've seen on this map, it's mainly been 1 to 2 snipers, and then one submachine gun.
PPSH, maybe like an FMG or FG42. Yeah, definitely kind of standard stuff when it comes down to this map. And Blfire just around the corner. I believe he's actually on the inside of the ship. So yeah, just at least from the Codcaster point of view, looked like he was getting ready to round the corner, which would have definitely led to an early demise. However, SinfuL dropping early on. As you've got to imagine, a lot of team chemistry has got to be on the side of... Oh, a nice little shot there coming in from Blfire. The tagged up with the nade along with the FMJ, but a lot of team chemistry definitely has to be on the back of Saugaaa, especially after winning a tournament like that one last night. Definitely need to work on their search and destroys. That was one facet that their gameplay was kind of lacking, so I think this tournament overall is awesome practice for them.
Yeah, I mean, it has to feel good winning a UMG tournament and playing the next one the next day. I'm sure they're feeling great, and they're just trying to improve, like you said. I think it's really interesting, though, besides Goonjar just getting LMG kills. I want to see if that's the LMG that I was telling you about earlier. It's the one that I personally just feel like everyone's shredding with. But yeah, kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
You're good, though. It's obviously, I mean, the game's new. It's hard to be like, oh, the strategies, like, how are they kind of working out? But definitely certain guns can be discovered late.
1v1. Who you got? Blfire, Xotic.
I'm going Blfire. Where are you going?
I'll go Blfire with you.
Oh, he's got FMJ, though. As long if he can maybe... Oh, he doesn't have any tactical. He's only 50 points away from a Molotov. And we'll see how he tries to engage this one. Xotic just kind of cheekily handing on the backside of the bomb. We'll see how Blfire tries to engage. Just nice little hop up and does spot the head, I believe. But no, going to go for the sneak defuse. Xotic just around the corner. Does he spot him? He has no idea. And Xotic will be able to finish that one off. Darn it.
COD timing.
Mike? Darn it. I'm kidding.
COD timing is just so interesting sometimes. Just, I mean, these guys are like 1 second from seeing each other, and Xotic gets away. So, Xotic too, someone that we haven't been able to talk about enough this series. We've had a lot of focus on Goonjar and Royalty. I personally believe that his time is coming as well.
Oh, absolutely.
He had a great year with Cloud9, and I remember seeing a couple of tweets that he felt like he put his team he didn't perform to
let them down. Yeah.
He let them down, and like, how awesome is that in our community to have someone that can kind of like what Jacob did. He put the blame on himself and not like really throw it at your teammates. And I'm sure his current team and the community like respects people who aren't really like fake about how they performed and just say like, hey, I played bad and I'm gonna step up and play better. And if they continue to win online tournaments like they are, they can expect to see a great showing out of them at MLG Dallas.
Oh, for sure. And speaking on, of course, the topic of Xotic, there was actually a moment during Black Ops 3. It was like the middle of Black Ops 3, and I went down to Canada to actually cast a local tournament where Goonjar was actually teaming along with some other guys, like I was talking about. It was Modi, Ivy, and Holler. And throughout that tournament, Xotic was actually playing along with Clink, who I was talking about just a little bit earlier. And Xotic was just destroying. And speaking of that, Nagafen picking one up on Royalty. And through that tournament, he ended up getting picked up by Holler. They later went over to Team Caliber. And kind of from there, he kind of just grew out through his overall performance. And Proto doesn't spot Nagafen.
He turned around exactly when.
We talk about COD timing. There it is, Burns. Nagafen going for it. And Proto should just be able to go up on the hop up here. Surely. But no, he hops up the defuse. Or hops up the plant.
Naga's a genie. I don't know what to say. He didn't see him. He went for the plant. He got off of it.
How does he?
He must
has
have
to hurt him.
He had to have hurt him. That's just Nagafen for you.
Nagafen definitely turning up.
He has two headsets on, not one.
You just like go over to like a point of view from Nagafen. Just has like one literally on the top of his head and one on his ears.
We need to see like a picture of his room. He's got like a boombox in there or something.
We need to see that. He definitely had his mix amp turn on full volume there. 100%.
How many players do you think are going to go deaf?
Oh, it actually worries me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was listening to, I forget who it was the other day streaming. It might have been, I'm not even going to act like I know who it was. I don't remember who it was. But either way, and you could, like, actually hear like, the game sound through their headset that loud. And I was like, bro, like, come on now. Like, obviously, footsteps, it's a lot easier to hear with how the perks kind of work in this game, being in the combat trainings and whatnot. But still, that's one issue that I think is going to happen in Search and Destroy. One thing that kind of makes it interesting but also worrying is that like you're always going to hear footsteps, but I kind of like that it's difficult. Like you have to be careful. Like you almost have to be silent. Like you can't just allow for a perk to kind of bail you out from certain moments. So with that in mind, it is going to be interesting to see until we see maybe a patch come through. But for now, sound whoring, it's a thing, and it will be a thing until something happens, until a change occurs.
Yeah, I know with wearing Mountain, it helps you with your movement on the map. And then there's also another loadout that helps too. And I believe it won't let you stack it, correct? Because it says...
yeah,
I'm fairly sure it says,
you
like, you already have Mountain on, you shouldn't be using this or something like that.
Right.
But you can still somewhat hear people. So imagine being able to, like, double stack that and being completely silent on the map. A lot of what-ifs.
That'd be kind of interesting, like, if it actually totally silenced you, but at the same time, it would just take a lot of, like...
utility away from
exactly.
other stuff.
It would take a lot of utility away from, like, whether you rock primed on a certain thing, or maybe you want to use Hunker or something like that, but... still, though, the reason why we're not seeing Mountain be used as much, or at least these certain combat turnings be used, is just because, like, I mean, we'll see it from time to time. Obviously, we're going to see quite a few Mountains be rocked, but definitely not as much as we would have seen prior, just because it doesn't fully silence you. So to a lot of players, it's kind of like, well, if it doesn't fully silence me, then I don't really want it, because I'm only getting like half of what I would normally kind of grab. So definitely interesting plays, but of course, getting back into this round, it currently is 2-3 in favor of this time of TBD, as it will be a 1-versus-1, and SinfuL not challenging necessarily, not having the exact point of view of where Proto is at. And Proto actually hanging down here on the bomb and being right on top of where SinfuL needs to get to, which is that objective. And we'll see how Proto wins to play this, not having an exact idea as to where SinfuL could be at, as it kind of is a 33% chance they'll choose the right way.
Yeah, I like how SinfuL's playing this. He's kind of playing the outside edge of the map and trying to get a chance to see, but he didn't get the sneak off. Clutches up there on him. It's a good shot.
Yeah, solid challenge there from SinfuL. And granted, for a moment, I mean, there was a little bit of timing that could have came into it.
Do you think the Molotov was necessary right there?
I don't think that Proto realized how many bullets the SinfuL maybe had shot out of the FG. Because like hearing the FG, I'm thinking like this gun's got to have 50 bullets, but it only has 20. Like it sounds like, and it looks like an LMG. Not saying that came into play for Proto, but I don't think he realized how many shots that kind of came out of the clip. And I don't think everyone's like fully adjusted to like the secondary is kind of like a temporary primary. For sure. To kind of say it, just because that machine pistol is just so good, especially with an automatic attachment that you can put on every class in the extended mag.
I mean, unless you're nameless with the Molotovs.
Yeah, right.
I think you need to put your trust in your gun. Yeah. It's just the most viable way to get kills in Call of Duty, obviously, and trying to just throw a Molotov while giving up 3 seconds of it trying to change to your weapon is not a good way to try to win a 1v1. But
yeah, definitely not. But of course, loading in a much-needed round. If you're in the position of Saugaaa, this could be 5 rounds to 2, and a comeback that's most likely not going to occur, especially against a very talented team like the side of TBD. As 2 of them drop, the immediate rush there on for Proto absolutely lines up Blfire, and Nagafen doing the damage from a long range, gets the shot through the wall, but too many players alive, and he will get picked off, as it will be a round in the books here toward the side of Saugaaa. Now down 3 rounds to 4.
Yeah, just like our conversation from before, I think FMJ is absolutely necessary on most of these maps. I mean, you're just seeing pinpoint shots coming in just from call-outs from these guys. Funny story, too. When we were, shoutcasting, I called it calling out. I don't know if you heard that before.
Wait, say that again?
I said I'm not calling out right now. I was like, did Landon hear that? No, he didn't.
I think I did, but I think this went through at one ear or went through one ear, not the other, kind of.
Yeah, I think you got Nagafen sitting over with an FG on a power position.
This is such an awkward bomb site to hit.
It is because you get naded every time you go up there.
And it's like if you want to hop down, you're in a very there's a little bit of cover if you hop down, but at the same time, you are limited if there's a sniper rifle at the end of that deck, just because you could easily get picked off, especially when you got players like Royalty on one end who has now switched over to the PPSH, and Nagafen on the opposite, who is just incredibly solid, both with the Car 98Ks, but still looking forward. A man down right now is TBD. Do not want to be giving away back-to-back rounds, as it will be a 2-versus-3 now. Blfire shutting down 1. And we'll see if Methodz can try to pick up the other, of course, prior teammates back on CLG and Black Ops 3. Teamed, of course,
with Felony
yeah.
Complex.
Felony and Complex.
Yep.
Or wait, wasn't...
They made a last-minute change after they got into the league. They dropped Complex and picked up
Is this Blfire who they picked up?
No, it was. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
we're forgetting.
Wikipedia, where are you?
I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm looking it up. I actually need to know this.
Because they were the first team to qualify for the Pro League, if you remember that.
Who did they have on the team? It was Perplexed. That's right.
That's right.
Perplexed.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's not competing any longer too.
Well, Perplexed actually is playing with a team known as the Squad. He's playing with Tupac.
LeBron.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's obsessed with LeBron.
He is.
Loves
Like
him.
his Avi is LeBron. Like, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of LeBron James, but not as much as that man Perplexed is. But he's also playing with Vexed, his former teammate in Stunner, which I didn't know that either of those guys were coming back. But and I think they're also playing with Abizi, not Beezy
from Mayhem, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the real Beezy from Lethal Gaming or anything like that, but a Beezy. It's a new player.
On talks of this Canadian squad, they've brought it back 4-4, and I'm really hoping too on the other side, SinfuL. He started out really strong in Infinite Warfare with ALG with the top 4 placement at Las Vegas, and
actually funny enough with Royalty too.
Oh yeah, and I don't think they found the groove to There's just so many good teams like we were talking about. I guess we can't give anyone credit like they need to be at this level, but they're just that good. And when you place top 4 at the first tournament, that momentum should carry forward for the rest of the year, and it didn't somehow. So
yeah, kind of started off well and had some continuing struggles. People said it was a fluke, but it was, just everyone kind of performing
double Molotov kill from Xotic.
It's Xotic.
Burning.
Beautiful placement there onto the bomb. As we'll get to see this one again, thankfully.
Wow.
Just eliminates 2 players and also finds the third there on Blfire. Beautiful sequence of plays there coming in from Xotic, who I believe is now sitting at what? What is he
12
at
and 5.
12 and 5.
He's killing it.
Jeez. Over double positive. This man's destroying
He's
right
burning
now.
it. Is
Quite literally.
Burns
Burns is calling out when someone's burning
he's
it.
burning it.
Gosh.
Yeah, I need to use Molotovs more.
Oh, man. Oh, the chat was actually helping us calling out Perplex. Thank you, chat. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, chat. We do appreciate it.
We do. We appreciate you all. But still, looking forward, 5 rounds to 4. An advantage right now for Saugaaa. If you're in TBD's position, you have to force at least a round 11. Why? Because it's the best of 3. And it was Saugaaa who took map 1 on Gibraltar 6 rounds to 2. So with that, finding the first blood, which is incredibly important, because Blfire will be able to find that one on Xotic. And the guy that you definitely have to shut down, the hot man so far in this map, is currently off of it. And this is their opportunity to force the round 11 here, Burns.
Yeah, I think if Methodz steps up, I think we got around 11.
Definitely possible. And Nagafen kind of playing this up close and personal position. The guy has an insane reaction in Proto. I was going to say, does he go for the hop up? We saw this exact same situation where Nagafen hopped off the bomb, but a big kill from Proto, takes fire, and also shuts down 1. But it will be Blfire firing through that back deck side who picks him off.
Nagafen seems really confident at that bomb site, just kind of balancing both between the 2 levels of play. We've seen him go over there consistently every single round. And unless Goonjar can pull off a 1v3 here, we're going to see around 11.
Indeed we will. Overtime for this particular series, as it was SinfuL, along with Blfire in the back lines with the FG42s. And this is what makes it awkward, is that FMJ, despite you not seeing them, there only is so many angles that they can hold, and that's obviously the main position. And I swear, if you just kind of span through there enough, you're probably going to find a kill every round.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on the Canadians here.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to go with Saugaaa here, huh?
I mean, look at the scoreboard too. It's surprising to see. I guess stats don't tell all the story, but the Canadians are killing it on every aspect right now. I don't know how it's round 11. Especially with Xotic going 12-6.
Yeah, he definitely kind of.
He's kind of the outlier in this situation, but
for sure.
How frustrating is that when you're just like almost, you're double, triple positive, and you're just like, how are we at round 11? No.
Yeah, well, we had like one guy in was it versus a Team Courageous who had 15 kills or something like that, despite losing, or was that a different series? Like I think it was actually that one. Got to imagine the frustration. I'm usually the guy who's not playing well, and like someone's asking me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to plant the bomb for you. All right, just let me do my job."
Ooh, that was a ballsy check by Blfire. Am I allowed to use that word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? I mean, hey.
I was like, this is not coming
Call
out
out
good,
what
but
you
I'm
see,
going to do it
Burns.
anyway.
Call out
Well,
what you see.
so far, my prediction is right. We got
Oh,
3-on-3.
Blfire finding one. Methodz finding the second. And wow, another headshot there onto Royalty. But Proto is last alive. He picks off one. And if he plays his cards right, if he picks off Methodz, this one is still likely. Only finding hit markers, goes for the re-challenge, and unfortunately not enough time. Proto.
We're going map 3.
We are going to map 3, and you got to imagine that situation. If Proto can finish him off, if he goes and maybe is able to find cover, maybe behind that boat just toward his left.
For sure.
He has a position to try and re-challenge versus Blfire, but in the end, a very high-pressure situation and a big win there if you are on the side of TBD. We're headed to map 3.
I feel like even getting behind a boat, he was going to be dead either way.
Probably, but you know. Especially with the FMJ that we've been seeing from Blfire quite a bit of the time. But like I said, we'll be heading to London Docks for map 3. That's really it. But of course, loading here toward London Docks for map number 3 between both of these squads. It should be an interesting one, to say the least, as it will be Methodz and Nagafen left in a 2 versus 2. And just like that, players picked off. Xotic, the hot man of map 1, has to find both Methodz and Nagafen to put a round number 1 on the boards. And it's definitely possible. At least from here, it looks like he has the bar, I think.
We're getting pretty closer to the screen.
I'm definitely like getting my eyes right up to it, but it looks like he has the bar in the situation, but it doesn't
not going to matter.
Walks in a barrel building and just totally gets picked up. I actually watched a video on YouTube from Exclusive Ace, and he was showing an angle right where Xotic is walking into, where if you hold back barrel, you can actually look into the very top of this entryway, and it's actually a great line sight to hold. So if Xotic maybe watched that video, he could have...
Have you heard of where the famous Burns call-out is? Did you see that picture that I posted?
I don't believe so, no.
Hopefully we get to that spot. But
I mean, hey, I can go anywhere. Let me know. Where's it at?
Trash can, right? Go straight down.
Or
right to the left of Methodz.
He just says the trash can right about there. Wait, did I hear production say trash can too?
It's a trash can, like everyone already knows. So, stream, there you go. I am a trash can. That's the Burns call-out. It's great.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
You don't deserve that.
It's okay.
I really don't.
It's all right. You know,
You
as
can't-
long as I stay relevant somehow.
I mean, hey.
Even if it's a trash can call-out, I'm okay with that.
I mean, hey, you get the twins who are constantly drawing about you and whatnot.
True.
You gotta, you know, cater the twins. You gotta babysit the twins. On
I love the twins.
They're great. They really are. Awesome players.
Consider them my own little brothers in some way.
Yeah. It looks like it is a 1 versus 3 Proto. Oh god, thought SinfuL was literally just about to smack him in the face there with the gun, but hanging on the bomb site, the one that he needs to defuse, but looks like explosion's happening. And granted, while he does find 2, Nagafen's still up, and not enough time to go for the defuse in this situation. So with that, bomb will explode. Proto will not win the round, and it'll be back-to-back ones here toward the start of TBD.
Yeah, I think it was smart for him to stay alive and try to keep his streaks going. Both of them looked like they had some type of streaks going, so it'll be interesting to see who clutches up this next round.
Definitely. As Nagafen currently sitting at 3-0 after 2 rounds of play. Of course, trying to build up those streaks. It would be big, honestly, when it comes down to this map. And I know when it comes into London Docks, mostly A can be preferred. It honestly kind of depends, to be totally honest with you. It seems like A, for the most part, is more preferred, but I have seen, you know, similar to other maps, you can kind of be more heavy one-sided.
Yeah,
This one can kind of see, you know, both bomb sites be worked.
I agree with you. I think A is more preferred only because it's enclosed.
Yeah.
When you're getting to bomb down in an enclosed environment, it kind of gives you more confidence on what way they're coming from. B is just a little too open. You can get spotted from middle. You can peek it from your side or theirs, depending on where you plant. But yeah, I completely agree with you. This map is pretty even.
Ooh, and that's a much-needed kill if you're in Methodz' spot, just because you knew exactly where Proto was, and Proto very happy about the dolphin dive animation being added into World War II in that particular stance. And as he's currently on a 4 spree right now, and also getting that bomb down.
He's one kill away from a fighter pilot.
Yeah. If he finds that, along with the round security, that would be huge for future ones, as Methodz now having to try and retake, and it's all about positioning here. We'll see where Proto decides to go and how Methodz decides to trying to push the issue.
Sneaky here. They're both on each other, and
Proto's
Proto's
going
going
to
to
run
run
away.
away.
Proto, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I did too. He's just burning the clock.
And I've seen this play from him over and over and over again. It's just waiting out the time. Of course, needs to go for the challenge. Tossing at the Molotov, and he receives the shots, knows exactly what he has to do. That's just to stay alive. And this guy, does it.
Methodz could have possibly had that if he stayed on it.
But there has just been so many tournaments. I mean, I just get like literally flashbacks so far from all the tournaments that we've had so far in World War II, casting over Proto and Co. and a number of different ones, is that this guy just knows how to play the site so well. And it's almost like when you're in a 1v1, even in a 1v2, and if he finds a kill, it's almost a guaranteed round for him, as long as the bomb is down, because he knows exactly how to challenge. A lot of times you'll see guys in that situation try to maybe take the gunfight or maybe try to rush ones out. And it's like, you really don't need to do that. You just need to play the time because you have such a massive advantage when you're, of course, on the defensive end. And Proto showing exactly why as he secures his team the first round here in this map 3.
Yeah, Proto reminds me of like a mini Apathy almost, just playing really annoying and using all the advantages he can get with the sub. I think
can't wallbang that. Unfortunately, not using FMJ, of course, but using primed along with the advanced rifling attachment. I gotta ask you.
I think they're going for a ninja. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was gonna ask you on as far as SMGs. I'm not sure how much, of course, of World War II you've been able to play, but what's the preferred attachments here? As Xotic goes for the defuse on the PPSH.
I would have to say grip and quick draw, 100%.
Do you like advanced rifling? Rifling.
Pristini does.
Pristini
the
does?
United pro tip of the day.
Okay. I use it too.
Yes.
Because Pristini uses it. Because I watched him play it. I was watching United Scrim on day 0, technically, of the game being out, and I was like, all right, I'm using that gun. Clay likes the bar. I'm going to use my permanent unlock on that. So.
Yeah, you see Preston challenge some gunfights that he shouldn't, but he gets the kill because of that attachment. And it's a great factor. So when he is able to put 3 attachments on a gun, he's using advanced rifling, grip, and quick draw. There's some pros that I know can do without quick draw. There's some pros that can do without grip. And if they can, that's an advantage that they have. It's definitely better to obviously only have 2 attachments so you can put your resources into, other utilities on your character.
Yeah. And I was actually watching some scrims from Era. I want to say that was either yesterday or the day before. And I think it was Dito kind of going back and forth with the rally, and they were discussing how really you don't need quick draw on the bar, at least in their cases. And for me, it's just like, I don't understand how that's the case. But at the same time, I mean, it's all about ADS speed, the challenge that you're making. It really is just overall pro player preference.
For sure. I mean, if you're very good and strategic at getting a position advantage, sure, that will work. But, I mean, at a pace of playing against a really fast team, like maybe Optic or somebody else, you have to have quick draw, in my opinion. I just don't feel like those teams will even give you a chance to set up. My personal opinion.
No, yeah.
Not sure how you feel, too.
No, it's definitely, kind of a continuous, not necessarily like a argument, but a discussion that can kind of go on throughout the rest of World War II as far as, which, attachments are preferred. Like I said, I think depending on your role and depending on who you're playing against, maybe you could get away with not using quick draw on the bar especially. But, when it comes down to most gunfights, and I think when it comes down to most teams, especially with how World War II currently plays, I would say that quick draw is probably preferred. But Royalty, heading into this next round, trying to use not necessarily quick draw, but his quick reaction times with that Kar 98K player just above him on that right side. Don't believe he ended up spawning him. But at the same time,
they're so mad right now.
Yeah, they've got to be incredibly frustrated because Methodz doesn't receive the call out. So 2 players drop, and it's all because of the machine pistol. It's due to the positioning that Royalty is able to grant. Along with that, he also gains the positioning on his teammate to help find the other kill. So now SinfuL's left in a 1 versus 3 scenario.
Yeah, SinfuL was paying attention to top mid, and one of the players just slid right by and got a nice little 2-piece.
That's got to be, like you said, it's going to be so frustrating.
It's frustrating. That might be like a tilting factor that might come into play here. I'm sure they're talking about it right now, and maybe the Canadians are able to capitalize on that.
Oh, for sure. And it's kind of a thing where it's like you see like a teammate right in front of another player drop, and he doesn't turn around. And it's just like, it wasn't a call out. It was just like, are you kidding me? Like it was like a complaining moment, most likely, in that scenario. As
because when you go back and look at that round, I mean, just how the Canadians are playing it right now. I mean, they got the bomb down. All 4 of them were set up, and all it took was 1 missed turn on your screen to lead to a 2-piece. Proto's just disgusting.
Wow. And one thing that I've seen from, of course, the side of Saugaaa throughout, honestly, every single search and destroy map is they love going for the quick plants because they obviously realize the objective at hand, and the ability to be on offense is to get the bomb down, of course, but I don't think a whole lot of teams realize that there is actually a positive to being on offense, because the whole point is obviously get the bomb down. So once you get the bomb down, now you have the favorable advantage. So I think that they're kind of playing to that. I think a lot of teams, like when it comes into most rounds, like, well, we're on defense, so we kind of have the more preferred side. We let the enemy come to us.
Did you just see that or no?
I did see that.
It was the Naganade came back to bite up Blfire.
I think he just shook his head a little bit inside of
You think it's from that argument that I was just talking about?
I think it's possible.
Imagine what they're talking about right now. It's bad.
Oh no.
I'm not even. I'm not in the chat right now, but I have a feeling it's very bad in there.
It's gotta be frustrating, especially being in map 3 and letting Xotic find the final 2.
Yeah, for sure.
What's Xotic right now? What is actually as soon as
15 and 5. No,
probably he's probably at 20 kills by now.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Okay, 4 and 4.
Not the greatest. He's doing his job, but see, you got one person going off every map.
Man.
That's all you need is consistency from 3 of your teammates and one person going off. That's the winning formula.
And I like to play here, kind of keeping in mind the longevity that could potentially be in this map. Proto handing over the objective to Xotic, who's getting close to streaks, giving him that one to plant down. And like I said, another round where we see the side of Saugaaa go for these quick plants, realizing that as soon as the bomb goes down, they now have the favorable position, which I think is huge when it comes into search and destroy, like we were just talking about. But Royalty in the back lines has the Kar 98K, of course, realized the machine pistol at that range was the more preferred weapon, and now going for a full-on flank. And this is why I love Royalty, just because of his positioning. He realizes not the greatest of spots. Now he's got Nagafen and Blfire, or Nagafen and I believe that's SinfuL on the back lines looking for someone else. And, of course, had the positioning gone his way, it would have maybe worked out for a round, but dropping for the first blood and kind of continuing on, it'll be a defuse.
To execute a full pinch like that, you need one of your guys winning at least 1 or 2 different gunfights to just play a distraction. They cleaned up 2 of the guys on the bomb site. Next thing they're going to do is focus on middle and external factors that could lead to a late flank.
Definitely, but still, it is the side of Saugaaa on series point. Can they get it done, or will we see yet again another round 11 forced from TBD? Somehow a miss snipe there onto SinfuL. It has to be, as SinfuL most likely in good graces, kind of sweat off the brow situation, as he's just happy to be alive right now.
Yeah, we got a 3-on-3 situation here. Both teams picking up a pretty early kill in the round.
Ooh, and Smoke's out.
I think it's a weird time for a smoke in a round.
Yeah, where's that?
Why. Was that a miss smoke or one from the other team?
It's like a really odd. I mean, it looks like they're definitely limiting like this dock area, but I'm not sure who that really benefits in that scenario. Like,
it's kind of behind everybody.
Yeah, it's like, is it the surprise from Saugaaa, or is it TBD just trying to cover their tracks?
It's just one of those things that. It's a 1-on-1.
Ooh. Proto
are going to round 11.
Not able to find it. As yes, 1 round to decide it all. Who will move forward into round 5? Will it be TBD? Will it be Saugaaa? Burns? I want the prediction. Give it to me. Who are you going with?
I think TBD is getting their stuff together.
Okay.
They got 2 rounds after the 2 misplay rounds.
Oh, okay. Offensive round for TBD. I think I'm going with Saugaaa here.
Okay.
I think I'm going with Saugaaa, especially if my man Proto can continue to find first bloods. He's also got a Molotov in his back pocket.
And he's 12 and 5. That's a plus for you too.
He spots Methodz through mid-street, but the great nade actually, just overall great timing there if you're in Methodz' case. As backing up, as you're going to see the entire side right now of TBD, maybe choose a different bomb site, maybe making their way toward B, and Goonjar back here with the FG42. If he can maybe find a pick, it's actually the streak starting to come in. That's a huge overall.
It's good information. Even though he didn't get a kill, you can only ask for so much in a stalemate round like this. But you're seeing the other team take advantage of that, and they're starting to push heavy on B. Ooh,
God, he saw the shadow. Goonjar. Yeah, he had to see the shadow there from Blfire. AR versus AR. Head glitch will win it.
Oh man!
Insane reaction there onto Methodz as 2 fall. SinfuL and Nagafen now left in a 2 versus 3 situation as Nagafen picks off Xotic. If they can win another 1-on-1 engagement, which is exactly what SinfuL could be getting into, it'll start to look more likely. But Royalty, you do not want to face off against this guy in close quarter range, and that's exactly why. Finishes off 1. And speaking of 1, it's Nagafen. Series on his shoulders. Can he advance TBD, or is this one done for Saugaaa? And granted, he has to get this bomb down here, and I know this is not the preferred side of choice, especially being all by himself, as he will be spotted out. Going on the flank up through the docks. And this one is over. Proto tossing the flames out just to stay a little bit warmer, as it will be the side of Saugaaa narrowly winning this one out here in overtime as they progress to round 5.
Slowing up the speed of time. Don't let me crash down tonight. I just wanna feel what I feel, what I feel. When it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees just to see if I can still bleed.